And we're back on another exciting episode of Starfleet Boy, where we have a casual and informal conversation. Today, we are focused on Star Trek Lower Decks, and the episode is known as Moist Vessel. Is your vessel moist? My my number one is running a little late, I think. But yay, Father's in the house. So Father and I will keep you entertained, audience, while we wait for him to get here. So actually, if you guys are in there and want to comment, start letting us know what you thought of this episode so we can start talking about it when he gets here. Should I do kind of want Sean. I should punish Sean and make him do the summary when he gets on here. So in the meantime, I will remind everyone about some of the offerings on Starfleet Boy. So we have this episode discussion, which takes place every Thursday at 6-ish. I think I'm gonna talk to Sean about this, but I think we're gonna move it to 6:30 perhaps. And then that way everyone has time. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Anyways, we have this live discussion of the Lower Decks episode that airs on the same day. We have 6 more of these to go, and then we'll do Star Trek Discovery. At that point, I think I might move Star Trek Discovery to a different block, but we'll see. We'll see what happens to Starfleet Boy. Then on Fridays, we have what we call TQIF. Thank you. It's Fridays, and it starts out with Text Trek on his channel. He does a much better, because he's got a little bit of distance discussion than this one. Not that I want you to tune out. I think these are fun too. But you can go and watch that analysis on Text Trek. And then right after we do Starfleet Boy After Dark, so you can tune into that. And then Saturdays, we talk about Star Trek: The Original Series. And our next episode is Mud's Women. So that's going to be Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern. By the way, the other time slots are 8:30 p.m. Eastern for Text Trek on TQIF, and then roughly 10:30 p.m. Eastern for Starfleet Boy After Dark. So yeah, that's the offering on Starfleet Boy. And then I just also want to, since we're on the subject, you can go over to Boatwreck's channel. Hello, PJ. Welcome. And listen to his commentary, which is a hoot. I haven't listened to it yet. I can't wait. That's what I'm going to do next. So right after this, we're going to listen to your commentary and watch. I'll watch it with my, I guess my mom. That's who I'm watching Lower Decks with next. So yes. And then of course there's a plethora of YouTubers talking about Star Trek. So just to name a few, you can go to Trek Lad's channel. You can go to Ketwalski's channel. You can go to Dan Gunther's channel, which is Kurtratz Productions. You can go to Triangulum Studios. You can go to Jesse Gender. You can go to, who am I missing? Trek Yards, of course. And then I forget, who am I missing? Well, not necessarily to talk about this subject, but you can definitely go to Continuum Trek and watch on Saturday evenings at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, A Question of Trek, which is a quiz show. And I'm a captain, an undeserving captain. And that reminds me, shout out to Robbie, who can't make it to this stream because he has school tomorrow, and we appreciate that. Oh my gosh, he's here.
Am I on shit sound or am I on good sound?
I can't tell. Change it. Like change it to what you think the next sound is going to be.
No, this is the good sound, because the
shit. So really,
the shit sound would sound like this.
Oh yeah, that is shit sound. You can go. How am I, by the way? Good, or do I sound shit?
You're beautiful. You sound good. You look good.
Ah, thank you. You're
How's everybody doing? I know there's probably people watching me arrive. I'm sorry. I've got my inappropriate Game of Thrones t-shirt, which I will not say out loud.
Well, this is my fault that you don't have this t-shirt, and now our postal service is kind of
I know it's all a failure. It's fine. Leave it be.
Yeah.
Let's wait till the elections pass, and then I might get my Lower Decks merch.
It's true.
I don't know how that's related, but somehow they made it related.
We do have a
USA.
bunch of folks in the audience. I gave everyone like a lowdown. Instead of doing this at the end, I just gave everyone like a lowdown of all the offerings on Starfleet Boy, and I hadn't mentioned your channel yet.
Offerings.
So now that you're
okay.
Yes, the offerings. So the other thing obviously is you can check out Trek on the Tube audience. So since
There's
you
only 2 of us today. There was
yes.
a million of us last time.
No surprises today, right? Hey, we have a first time member in the audience.
Hi.
Reese.
It's very low. It is very low decks.
First time here, and the Game of Thrones shirts is very lower decks. Lower decks. I can't talk. The universe is balanced on the back of a giant koala. Yes, praise and eucalyptus leaves be onto the koala. Lest he turn his smile upon thee. By the way, I don't know if you think so, Reese, but if you ever read the Terry Pratchett novels, I was wondering if the koala was a reference to the turtle. But I don't know. Maybe. Do you know Terry Pratchett, Sean?
I've never read it, but I know exactly what you're talking about. I have
enough.
I have enough friends that read. Well, I have enough. I have like 2 friends that read, which you know, they tell me about all of these things, these peculiar things. So.
well, we have established on this show that
have you done the episode recap, or were you
that's
going through
that's
the
your
offerings?
punishment. That's your punishment for being late. We have Chris here as well. Hello, Chris. Welcome to the stream. So now that you're late, go ahead, do the episode summary.
It's pretty straightforward actually this time around. Basically, the episode deals with so the Cerritos finds an ancient generational ship that has now is like a defunct ship, right? It doesn't work anymore. Everyone's dead on it. I know what you're doing. I see what you're doing. You're referencing Mariner here. You're doing the joke.
What are you talking about? I'm just yawning. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Go on.
All right. This is good. It's meta. Anyway, the USS Cerritos finds this big ass generational ship. They have another ship come in to help them, which I forget what it's called. And what they're trying to do, their mission is to basically drag this generational ship to the closest starbase, so that I suppose a team of scientists and all bunch of Starfleet people can start studying it, studying the technology that they have, this ancient species, etc., etc. Everything goes well until the Tellarite captain of the other ship decides to move in closer into formation because he wants like the lead tractor beam or something on the ship, and then everything turns to shite, where the orange goo that they use for terraforming.
I call it the Genesis goo.
The Genesis goo starts touching all of these because this Genesis goo basically touches matter and transforms it into biological matter. And then so there you go, you start terraforming the ships, and a whole bunch of shenanigans happen where it's like a disaster scenario, basically.
It is.
Where like every section of the ship gets turned into like this different environment. And then we follow various little groups of characters that have to live through this. So we got Mariner and her mother, which gives us
Carol.
an interesting dynamic. Carol Freeman, that gives us an interesting dynamic. We get Tendi and some dude that ascends to the koala.
Lieutenant O'Connell, if I'm not mistaken.
Boimler, my boy.
Played by Lieutenant O'Connell, played by Haley Joel Osment.
Who's that? Do I know?
Okay, did you see the movie The Sixth Sense?
Yes. Oh, is it the kid?
The little kid. He's not a little kid anymore.
He was in The Boys.
Yes, exactly. And
I like him. He was the first child actor where I said, "Oh my goodness, children can act."
Yes.
He was I was blown.
He knocked it out of the park.
This guy can act better than most adults. This is amazing.
And he's a pretty good adult actor as well. Sorry, I didn't mean to ransack
He was fun in The Boys. He just had like the little scene at the convention.
You have to see him in Mr. Future.
Mr. Future.
No, was it called Future Man? Future Man. Sorry, Future Man.
That sounds even worse. Mr. Future sounded crap. Future Man sounds worse. How did you do that? Anyway.
He's great, and he's really great in Future Man too. I was beyond.
Well, Riss is saying that he sees dead people. That's in The Sixth Sense. Spoilers for The Sixth Sense, the movie that came out in the 90s. In this episode, he ultimately sees everything. He doesn't just see dead people. He sees
Yeah,
all of it, everything.
He became the great bird of the galaxy. Like, didn't you see it? Like
One of them.
wings?
One of them. He became
one of them. Right. We know he became one of
Come
them.
on.
It's
There's
true.
multiple now at this point. Anyway, that's
I guess
basically the episode.
Yeah, and then it just like wraps up, I guess, with Mariner getting demoted back to.
Well, Mariner has a moment where she finds the solution. Like she comes up with the scientific solution to the problem. So they spray the ship. Every Lower Decks episode seems to finish by like spraying the ship, and everything is fixed.
They didn't spray it this time. They gassed it. This time it was.
My bad. They gassed it last time, didn't they? In episode 1. Anyway, gas the ship. It'll be fine. And so yeah, they gas the ship. Everything. The day is saved. The ships are saved. They beam the angry Tellarite and his outstanding crew to the generational ship. Everyone goes back to the station, and Mariner still gets demoted because she's a dick. I mean, what else are you gonna say? Mariner's a dick.
All right, great. That was a really good summary. I was really like I was really not yawning for
Lore,
real,
we have the one and only Lore Reloaded here.
No way.
Leaving comments, and he's asking if it's legal to say it is. It all depends on context, sir.
This is such an honor. Oh my goodness. Hello, welcome, Lore Reloaded. We got a couple of comments to go to. That ship looked like the Event Horizon crossed with the Firefly. Yeah, I would agree.
I got Firefly vibes, but I haven't seen Event Horizon. Risk, you
Liberate tutte et feris exitus. Liberate tutte
He's dying.
feris
Risk,
exitus.
But know this: every bloody week, there's someone in the comment section that's like, "You haven't seen Event Horizon, Sean? You got to see this movie." And so I have it now. I have it in my possession.
Behind on everything? Do you have a list?
Because I watch everything else. I have this long ass list of things that I need to watch. But yeah, Event Horizon. I have Event Horizon. What's the other one? I have this other strange ass movie that I have to watch.
I don't know.
There's it's on Disney Plus. The other one's on Disney Plus.
The Mandalorian.
The Black Hole.
Oh my gosh, you haven't seen the Black Hole either?
I have the Event Horizon and the Black Hole. Those are my two things that I
my gosh, Bob. That's what I thought Bob was when you first did Bob. It's not a reference to the Black Hole. I mean, no. Bob is like a black hole, so
Bob.
By the way, could you go get the Cannon Cop hat? Do you have it nearby?
Why?
I just want to ask you a question.
Okay. What is this? Here it is. Here's the prop.
All right, put it on.
Behind the scenes. Oh, I can't.
All right, there's a thing called.
Wait.
Okay. All right,
what's going on?
Okay, there's a thing called Trekkie accents. So in honor of this episode's title, I'm going to do my best Russian accent and ask you a question. Okay, are you ready? Excuse me, officer. I am looking for the
This is Russian or this is French?
Wait, the moist vessels. Do you know where the moist vessels are? Can you take me to the moist vessels, officer?
God damn it!
All right, sorry, I had to do that gag. Thank you. Context is for kings. Honor, please. We're often watched. Sung. He's the opposite of often wrong, Sung. Thank you so much. Thank you. Here's the actual Liberate tutte me ex infidens.
I will get that reference one day. Eventually, I will get that reference.
Sean, if you enjoy movies about haunted derelicts, try Ghost Ship. Modern humor, classic. All right, so let's go back to Lower Decks.
I want Taika Waititi. You know who Taika is?
Yeah, of course.
Waititi. I want him.
I just saw Jojo Rabbit. We're not talking about Lower Decks at all.
Jojo Rabbit is. We'll get to it. All
right.
This is the build-up. People arrive halfway through anyway. We get most of our viewership when we start ending.
It's true. Wow.
Jojo Rabbit.
Analytics, man.
Jojo Rabbit is amazing. Jojo Rabbit is amazing. And I want
JJ Rabbit is.
I want Taika to do this space thing. Space, the final frontier. I'd love that. That'd be so cool.
Did you tag him in it?
On a Starship Enterprise, eh?
It's Trekkie accents. tag him in it. Tag Taika Waititi.
Get
If I'm
everyone
saying
to
it
do
right.
it. Oh, we need like Sir Patrick Stewart to do it. Well, he's already done it. We need what's Sir Anthony Hopkins. That kind of caliber. Anyway, lower decks.
The briefing room scene was the little teaser in the beginning. Did you not love that?
She annoyed the hell out of me, but that's the point.
It
Right?
was
Like I was like, oh my god, can you just stop yawning? And the last yawn that they drag on for like an hour and a half before cutting to the credits, I was like, oh my god, but it's done on purpose. I commend the juxtaposition of the annoying as Mariner and the very professional Starfleet crews, right? I like that.
Well, it was a classic style opening, I thought, too, with like the captain's narration. Yeah, and but also the captain's narration of the events leads seamlessly into the conference room scene.
Okay, that's
so
the
you're
thing.
seeing...
I'm a bit puzzled as to when the captain's log ends and when the discussion with the conference.
No, well, that's the whole thing. Is she was giving that briefing, and it sounded like a captain's log. Like she never says captain's log.
Says, "Are you sure?"
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. We have some pretty keen eyes and ears in the audience. So if I'm wrong, let us know. Yeah.
Steven knows.
The yawning was excruciating.
It was not on purpose, I know, but it was just like, oh my god, you're the worst. Please stop.
And we get a Tellarite. How like crazy was that?
Hey Larry.
That was true, Larry Nemechek. They heard us on last week's episode of Starfleet Boy.
That's right. They wrote this episode specifically because they heard us talk about it last week.
They heard us talk about it, and they were like, "Can we get a Tellarite in there somehow?" Like it was actually a Bolian. It was actually a Bolian before, and they just changed it to a Tellarite.
He was a fun Tellarite. He wasn't as argumentative as the ones that we got in Enterprise, but I mean. He's Starfleet. They've been.
Yeah, but he's like unstable. I don't know if Tellarites should be captains because he is argumentative. Like he's.
Oh, the racism. Oh, the speciesism. I don't know if Tellarites should be captains. There's a quote for Law Reloaded.
He had no respect for
that on the video on the thumbnail. Make a whole debate out of it. Boom.
Damn it, Jim.
I'm offended. I don't know if Data should be captain.
Yeah, we've talked about that extensively. So if you guys are interested in our thoughts on Data being captain, you can.
If you're interested in our thoughts about Data being captain, you'll have to watch like 3 years worth of TNG discussions to get the full scope of it.
In a nutshell,
products.
In a nutshell, even though we love Data, Data is dangerous.
He's scary. He literally tells someone he could like break their arm off at some point.
It's true. Anyways, Tellarites are kind of like that. I feel like I've only met like disgruntled ones, and this one was no exception. His name was Captain.
They enjoy the argument. I am a Tellarite at heart. I like this. I like the way that they come onto your ship, and the first thing they say, like, "Hey, your ship's ugly. It's small," and then you have to reply in kind. So are you. You're ugly and you're small. I like that. I find that comedic. And I think it's a great way. I think they should be. You know what? I think Tellarites shouldn't be on ships. It would make more sense to have them be. They're like the Federation Council. All of them.
Oh, like so you're saying. So now you're saying it's okay.
Federation.
You agree with me that Tellarites should be banned from captaining starships. They should not
say that.
That's what you said. You just said they should they should not be on ships.
Let me rephrase that. Let me rephrase. Within the universe, I think it would make more sense to have them like. It would make sense to have like a Tellarite. A president or whatever it is that they have is a president. So yeah, Durango. It's Durango, from Fistful of Datas. That's the name of Deanna Troi.
I didn't catch that until I saw it on Twitter, so that was cool.
It's the Twitters that told me. But yeah, I think. But he was great. He was fun. Was he attention seeking, or was he was like in search of that? I suppose all of these captains. I
felt like his jealousy was like kind of bubbling because Captain Freeman made that comment about like how this maneuver, everything's going so smoothly that her name's going to be on a plaque or something, and then she's like, "Oh, and you too, Captain Durango." And so he wanted to do. I don't know what he was thinking, like why moving the ship closer to the generation ship would be so.
I feel like being in the lead is better, but he felt like being closer to the ship was better. What are you gonna do? You're gonna land on it,
right? And then he totally botches the whole thing up. Of course,
he's an idiot, moron. No, well, you know what? We've been shown an entire new side of the fleet, of the Starfleet fleet. Now we know that these crap captains that have to captain all of these lower ships, right? They're all in competition with each other to try and get one like recommendation or one good word so that they can advance and move on to a better ship. All of these
Completely.
captains, they're like all at each other, not stabbing each other and everything, but they're kind of like, ooh, I'm gonna move my ship closer to the generation ship, see what happens.
Speaking of getting some lore in here, or some world building, we find out that the Captain Freeman, served with Captain Durango on the USS Illinois. Illinois. How do you say it? Illinois in French?
Illinois. No, I'm fucking with you. I don't know. That's not a French word.
It is. The Illinois
Is it?
territory was
Illinois?
French.
Illinois? Illinois would be the French way to say it. I didn't know if it was French.
I think it's a French thingy. Now you have me doubting myself. And then the name of the ship that Captain Durango captains is called the Merced. So, and it was exactly like I didn't bother to look up what the Merced is, if it's a California related thing or not, but they're both California class ships.
Yeah, those are it's a pretty big discovery for like a lower ship, I guess, like an unimportant ship in the fleet. It's a pretty big discovery, and they have to drag it around with the attractor beams. How long does that take? Does that take like a week to drag it to the next space station? Because you can't go to warp.
I mean, you could I feel like you could.
Impulse, I guess, but
I feel like you could tractor beam a ship in warp, but I think it would have to be in.
Only
have to
the timeline.
Oh, look at this! So there is a town in California called Merced.
A nowhere town in California.
We get the Vancouver. We go to Canada class next week. We get the Vancouver little spoiler for.
Tell me, I don't watch that.
It's in. Oh, you don't watch the little Flabberjack?
I don't watch them. I didn't get mad, but I was like, someone had already tweeted the Tellarite image, which meant I'd seen it. But when you tagged me on it, I was like, so I meant to tell you, don't tag me on the spoilers.
Oh shit.
I try to, well, I'd already seen the Tellarite, but I try to keep away from all of the information following next week, so that everything.
I didn't even think that would be a spoiler, to be honest.
Well, I don't think it was. Like there were two images.
It's like walking on eggshells.
Tendi with the hat. Those were the two images that I had seen, but I didn't know what the episode was.
Oh, gotcha. It's like walking on eggshells, trying to be your friend. I gotta watch what I tweet.
Is it that complicated?
No, it's not. We gotta go to the comments for a second before we continue.
Gotta go to the comments.
There's a lot of comments. Wow, guys, thanks for being so active. Let's see here. So Chris says, I think the opening was not as interesting as previous openings to Lower Decks. I disagree. I actually like that. Well, you're right, because what we had, the first one was really.
The first one wasn't part of the episode. It was Mariner and Boimler fighting,
giving his captain's log, but it was like that was the gag, was Boimler giving his captain's log.
Well, that was the teaser to the show,
and the Batleth. So that was like the first one.
Yeah.
Did you just roll your eyes at the Batleth?
Yes, I did.
Wow. Then
Steven rolled his eyes too. Father, rolling his eyes as well.
Wow. The second one was the second episode was the teaser was let me think here.
Was it remember Space Ball? The Space Being?
What was that little?
I think so. I think so. No, that was episode 3. I don't bloody know.
Damn it. Anyways, I was
we're the worst.
I think it's just on par. I'll go with that. I don't think it was less interesting. It was just on par, but I loved it. I thought it was really neat.
It was less far-fetched. That's the thing. It was less of a science fiction thing, but I liked it. I liked it within the context of the episode. It really, I think it works. I think I really like this thing where you show that Mariner's just ridiculous, but you also have these very serious officers. I like that.
Reese says, honestly, I love Beckett, but she was OTT in the yawning scene. What does OTT mean? Out.
Over the top?
Over the top. Nice. Good job. Was it genuine yawning? No. And yeah, excruciating but beautifully animated. Someone loved drawing Beckett's
You know
mouth.
what
That's
was
true. It was actually
you
beautifully
know what was
animated.
beautifully
You saw her
animated in this
teeth and
episode?
everything. That's right.
What
I
was
think my Lord
fantastic?
got shirt arrived. No, it didn't.
Oh,
Sorry.
Curse you.
The
You know
UPS check went by.
what was fantastically animated was Marina eventually is like sick of being what is it, lieutenant, whatever she was. She's sick of going to all of these meetings, and so she starts really going limp and walking around all like kind of. She drags herself around. It was wonderfully, goddamn camera. She was wonderfully animated, like the way she rolls off the bed and she drags herself around. I thought that was really like the fluidity of the animation was really nice, and like there was this it's this physical comedy of her just dragging herself. I loved it. I thought that was good.
Sean, we were both right. Captain Freeman starts out with the start date, and that's why it sounded like a captain's log.
Oh,
and it probably was like that transitioned smoothly into.
I have to listen to it again, but I'm sure there's one sentence where it is no longer the captain's log, right? And it's
right. But I mean, that's what I'm talking about. I feel like I can't name a specific instance, but I feel like Star Trek's done that a ton of times in the TNG/Enterprise era. So I feel like that's like a trope. That was good. That was good. So Starfleet Boy gets a point. Tellarites are totally not Starfleet material, no matter how much they try. So thank you for.
They founded the damn thing. They founded the Federation. God damn it. Well, they didn't found Starfleet.
The United States helped to found the United Nations, and currently we're not worthy to be a member.
Maybe the Tellarites, Vulcans, Andorians, and humans founded the Federation, but Tellarites objected against Starfleet, and so a lot of them refused to be in Starfleet. They're like, "Nah, we're good for the Federation, but we don't care for your space.
Want to be in
force?
Your
we want to be
Space Patrol.
Space Patrol. La Patrouille du Cosmos, which is Star Trek in old like this is how they called it in Quebec, Star Trek the original series back in the day.
We do have a counter, which is wouldn't a few argumentative Tellarite captains be good for dealing with species that respect bluntness? No.
What do you mean no?
Every key player in this episode, bar Mariner, was fundamentally.
That's the answer. Just a fat no.
Yeah, no. We're all
yes.
Starfleet. Yes. Fundamentally insecure and jockeying for recognition. Durango, Freeman, O'Connell. I think it was O'Connell. Or am I thinking of Jerry O'Connell? I think it was O'Connor. You're right. Tendi, Boimler.
O'Connor's the character from The Mummy, 1999.
Oh. And Beckett is happy where she is. Interesting. That's true. That is 100% true. Nice.
I don't understand I understand the Mariner character less than what I did before now. I don't know if she enjoys being in Starfleet or not. Does she enjoy the comfort of the ship? You know what I mean? The comfort of, because she doesn't want to go up in rank. But does she want to be kicked off Starfleet completely? Because she could just leave.
Yeah, she can just leave at any time. And in fact,
she's really staying for her parents, but she doesn't seem to be one to respect. Like, she dated a lizard thing that lays eggs in your mouth just to piss her off. So she doesn't seem to be. I don't understand where she's coming from. Maybe because I'm not like her, but yeah.
I kind of am. I'm obviously there's so much about the show to enjoy. So like, it's funny how like these things that are like deeper in layer are important. They're not like a big deal right now. I'm cool with just kind of like discovering Mariner slowly. I'm just like enjoying finding out what her deal is. But I will say that is a question that I myself wonder is like, what's her deal? Like basically, what is Mariner's deal?
What is her deal?
Yeah. So I think we're gonna. What's Mariner's deal? Audience, what do you think Mariner's deal is? Let us know.
That's it. That's the question. What's her deal?
What's her deal?
Because we know everyone else's deal. We know Tendi's deal. We know
that was pretty good. I want to talk a little bit about the confession.
Love to Tendi.
What's that?
The Ascension.
Well, it's confession.
What was it?
where
Oh,
the
the
whole
convention.
conflict between her and the character is he thought she was trying to get him to ascend, but the whole time all she wanted was to like be liked. She has this like intense desire to be liked by everyone, and I love that like that she was kind of holding back on that, and then finally she lets it out, and when she does let it out, they become pals. They're like, he was doing the same thing, like the whole reason he was like pretending that he would one day ascend.
Well, he was a very insecure young man, wasn't he?
At some point, but he actually did discover himself through this journey of like
He did.
pretending or whatever. You know how like there's that phrase of like fake it till you make it, like, you know, like I'm not a Star Trek expert, but I just keep pretending that I am
intelligent every day.
Like, I just keep pretending. I try to pretend that I'm one so that one day maybe I'll ascend to the expertness. My point is I guess that was like a really
I try to be nice
thing.
every day. No, doesn't work.
We got this computer generated text message. The need to be like thumbs up ism, super relatable for these times.
He needed those likes, you think?
We all need the likes, which by the way, if Robbie were here, he would remind me to remind you, audience, to smash the like button right now. Smash it. Don't just press it. He's schooling.
He'll be watching this post.
It's true. But he'll be proud. He'll be proud. And if he hasn't done yet, he'll like the video.
He's already liked the video. He's a boss. He knows what he's doing.
Excellent. Maybe he'll be on my team and maybe we'll win on
I wish you guys all the best.
On a question track. But yeah, so I just thought I agree with the computer generated comment about that as well. It was like super relatable. Let's see what we've got. Yay, smashing away. This episode showed that Tendi is just as dysfunctional as the other lower decks folks. She belongs with them in the warmest way possible. She has found her people. Agreed. She's also like she's kind of like the one you're always seeing. Like she's the most kind of consistently like happy in the show so far. She's
the one that's just over the top happy.
That's true. I don't think he's over the top. You're right. Sorry, he's consistently happy. She's like extremely happy. You're right.
You don't think he's over the top?
No, I think he's like kind of.
Like pudding.
I don't know.
What the hell, yo?
Don't you get excited when you get pudding?
Fair enough. Well, less now. I make the pudding, but yeah, I think Rutherford's like, oh, he's so disappointed that he's gonna be checking. What is he gonna? The variations, like the tractor beam variations. He wanted to check out some other variations, but then he's like, oh, these are so cool. These variations are so good. I love Rutherford so much.
He's so great. All of them.
Cordero.
I'm starting to fall in love with all of them. What's that? What was the last thing you said? I cut you off. I cut you off.
Eugene Cordero is doing such a good job with Rutherford's voice. It's impeccable, honestly. Dear Lord, is this the UPS?
Siri was talking. Sorry.
Has the UPS man entered your home?
So weird. Sorry. There was another comment here. Let's see. Mariner's deal. Mariner doesn't feel ready to be an officer, like Riker in a way. I thought about that too, Stress Free K. I kind of thought about that. It made me reflect on Riker and his reluctance to.
Doesn't want to be a captain.
Yeah.
Okay.
But she totally digs away missions and fighting aliens and working out the cool parts of the deflector ship. I think she likes being. So there's this thing in corporate kind of America called you're like either a single. I'm trying to remember what it's called, like a single contributor or a like. I forget what the other like. So it's like you're either like managing a small team constantly and doing like paperwork. Or like doing the actual work, and I think she likes working. Like she doesn't want to like she was totally like
collar and white collar.
I don't know. There's all kinds of something. There's all kinds of words for it. Like everyone has like a euphemism for it, but basically it's the people who like to be out in the field doing things like with their hands, like touching things, like, and then there's people who love to just do paperwork.
Okay, so check the comment just before the stress free K one that you clicked. There's Wrist left a comment which I found interesting about Mariner's deal.
I'm convinced that Beckett believes in Starfleet, and I like that you used Mariner's first name, Beckett. Beckett believes in Starfleet and its mission, but hates the methodology frontierswoman in an era of Picardian regimentation. Wow, that's great. You're poetic, Reese.
Your poems. No.
If your name was J.
Um,
Reese Davies, I would say that that's fitting, but you are worthy of J. Reese Davies. John Reese Davies? Isn't that his name? Anyway, sorry, go on. You were going to say something, Sean.
Is it Reese? Is it Rice or is it
Rice? Oh, because Jonathan, I thought it's Reese because Jonathan Rice Myers is
I used to say Riss.
Riss. I like Riss too.
John Riss Davies.
Oh my gosh, could you?
I heard another channel say Rice, John Rice Davies. I was like, the Rice doesn't seem correct. There ain't no.
I think that's an American gaffe.
Oh, the Americans.
Let us know how to say it. Is it Riss?
Oh, the Americans. Their pronunciations and their postal service.
I'm afraid of Americans. I'm afraid of the world. I'm afraid I can't help it. Do you know that song, David Bowie? You know David Bowie? No, that was a David Bowie reference. Another great bird of the galaxy.
It's not of my age, but but I know the Bowie.
You I realized you could be my son. I'm old enough to be your father.
Really?
Yeah. If I had you at a young age.
No, you're what, 42?
Mm-hmm.
I'm 28. That doesn't make sense, does it?
Okay, I thought you were like 22. Sorry.
Well, there you go.
That's why I thought
you're wrong.
Never mind. I'm wrong.
I mean,
not my son.
Maybe,
get out of here.
Maybe
the Ferengi manipulated your genetics. Get off my bridge.
I have Borg nanoprobes, which make me age quicker. That's the thing.
Welcome, Alexandra Sandu. Welcome to the stream. Mariner seems to like the mission statement, just not the structure, institution stuff. Yeah, we were talking about that.
I think we're breaking down Mariner's deal here. I think we're getting to the thing here. She likes the idea of Starfleet and the idea of the mission, the exploration of space, and the new worlds and strange new worlds, all that. But she doesn't necessarily agree with how things are done. The status quo is not one that pleases her. Who knows? Maybe by Star Trek Picard, she's like a captain and she's changing things up. That would be boss.
Captain Mariner.
And she's like,
oh my gosh,
she's changing things.
Tawny could play Captain Mariner. Oh my gosh, you just got me so excited. Let's tie it in. Let's connect Lower Decks to
connect it.
Let's connect it. Let's connect it. Connect it to Star Trek Picard. That you just like the show's over, guys. Chuck, just like
I told you, we're not even halfway through. People are coming in.
So we found out that I was correct. It is Reese. Was I saying that? I was saying Reese, right? And it's Davis, not Davies. So Reese Davis, welcome again. Correctly pronounced this time. We will try to remember that for future broadcasts.
It's Welsh. You're Welsh.
It's Welsh. Yes.
I watch Top Gear UK, and they have Freddie Flintoff and oh dear God, I can't remember the other one. There's Freddie Flintoff and there's okay. Anyway, are they Welsh? Okay. Or not?
Well, I know that a lot of BBC, like Doctor Who's, filmed in Wales.
Paddy McGuinness. I didn't even. There's Paddy McGuinness and Freddie Flintoff, and I want to. Are those boys Welsh, or are they just from some sort of region in England, which have some sort of strange accent, which they're very difficult to understand sometimes. Anyway,
very good.
I love Shax. I love the way Shax just rips off the ensign at work sign.
Why was he wearing
I don't give a shit.
Why was he wearing sunglasses?
He's playing poker. They don't want to give it away. He's only got one good eye. He can't give it away.
But they're mirrored. They're mirrored sunglasses. Like people can see his cards. Here, I'll show you.
Damn, what an idiot. He doesn't know.
He doesn't know. He's like,
that's the thing. Okay, on Bejor, they don't have sunglasses. So he discovered this when he joined Starfleet. And he's like, I'm going to use this.
So good. This show's so good. We can.
I love how he rips off the sign. There's like instant at work. He rips it off, doesn't care, takes the turbo lift, And then when she gets squirted with the lubricant or whatever it is, and she's like, "I'm working here," he's just like, "Sorry," and you just hear him off camera. Sorry, he doesn't give a shit. I love Shaq so much.
Shax is great. And since I don't have a bear tag, a bear
I hope
a bear pack hashtag, but guys, hashtag bear pack. Good grief. Let me see if I can invent one. But yeah, the poker scene was LOL. Thank you, Database Boy, for putting that in there because I feel the same. I want to talk about we finally got from the trailer during the whole montage where Mariner is a lieutenant and they're calling her to all the senior officer or the officer things, and they go to the talent show and we get Captain Freeman's vocal jazz. I was like, yes.
And
I love
Shaq's
vocal jazz.
loving it. He's digging it. He's sitting there.
It's so good. Skip my beetle little doodle.
Oh yeah, we got skip boop. I forget her name. We should know her name because I think they mentioned it in episode 1. But the first girl that Rutherford dates, the Trill.
Yes, it's darn it, Bremer something like that. I'm not sure. Someone will know.
She's an ensign. So she's technically low decks, but I feel like she's not. I feel like she's senior staff because she's always on the bridge, right? She's always on the bridge crew, and she's always hanging with the senior staff. She was at that talent show watching them, so she's like the Harry Kim, but of the Cerritos, the Cerritos.
Reese knows everything. Ensign Barnes, thank you, Reese.
Knowledge.
Oh, Fathery.
Oh my God, so many knowledgeable people. we are but spectators to the comments.
I know we're slaves to the comments too. We gotta keep on track.
Yeah, no, she's chilling with them all the time, and I like that they have the ability to bring back these characters, or like you don't have to bring back the extras, like you just draw them. So we have.
Do you think it's
real
like
recurring crew members? I'm
sure
they have
it's like in Westworld. They just sit like motion until they're called upon. We also got that United Federation of Characters gag, which I feel like was a reference to something, but I couldn't find it on the internet. But it was just funny, anyways. When so after Captain Freeman does her jazz vocals, then she's like, and next up is so and so with his act United Federation of Characters, and he comes up on the stage, his back is turned, and he turns around and he goes something like "Hello there" or something like that. Yeah, it was really. I felt it was funny. It gave me a chuckle, but I also felt like it was deeper. I'd love to know what else was behind that.
So this episode, in a lot of ways, and I know this is kind of a stretch. Have you seen Solar Opposites or not yet?
No, I'm dying to see it.
Okay, well, Solar Opposites by Mike McMahon.
Oh, I didn't.
I'm not spoil too.
Okay.
I'm not going to spoil too much. I'm just going to say that Solar Opposites has self-contained stories. Like every episode, it's very episodic. Every episode is its own thing, but there is an overarching story that goes on throughout like each episode. And in one of the episodes, you focus more on that story than you do the actual episode, and so it leaves you intrigued. Well, it left me intrigued. I was like, what the hell happened in the actual episode behind this? We've been shown all of this A plot, but what the hell is the like they flipped the A plot and the B plot? You know what I mean? And so I was intrigued by the actual what should have been the A plot, and I felt like this was kind of the same thing in the beginning of the episode. Like once we've dealt with the generational ship and we've lifted, I'm like, hey, I want to be on that ship. I want to see what's going on the generational ship. And like,
which by the way, we haven't dealt with the generation ship on this episode of Starfleet Boy, and I wrote this note: Dyson Sphere episode. A generation ship is a really cool concept that we haven't seen. Like, I don't think the Federation have like really mastered that kind of thing. I had these theories that the Enterprise D is like a proto generation ship, or because it had families on board. But
Voyager almost became one.
Voyager almost became one. You can certainly convert them into it, but like based on the size of the Cerritos and the Merced, and the size of this thing, this was like a true generational vessel. Like it was meant
next to the damn station. It's huge,
right? It's huge. So like it was meant to carry a whole civilization rather than just like 1,000 people or so on and so forth.
These very tall people, because I feel like they're very, very tall when we see them in the the cryostasis things that shut down. There's like one shot of them, I think. I feel like their planet died. That's why they're in this ship, because they're off to terraform something. My big question is, if they have the ability to terraform like inanimate objects like metal and stuff like that, why the hell are they not just, I don't know, maybe they need to find a planet or like terraform a moon or something. They can't just terraform a ship, right? Like they could have terraformed their own ship and then live on it, but then I suppose you need to find yourself a stable orbit to set your ship in. I don't know. Maybe you can't just float around in space randomly. You have to kind of
it would render the ship like kind of useless because everything would turn into stones and rocks and waterfalls and stuff like that. Which the Cerritos and the Merced were pretty far gone. What's that?
Does it develop an atmosphere? Because I know it changes the. It changes the oxygen, like the air or something. It all becomes.
Yeah, Mariner was talking about how the humidity levels were changing and things like that. So, what was that?
It all becomes moist. This is for the ASMR people.
Moist. Sean, do you have a moist vessel? By the way, my camera angle is lower because This is gross. I'm not going to say my joke, but my camera audience, that I'll save it for Starfleet Boy After Dark. I do want to give a shout out to my mother. My mother only watches this show for the first 5 or so minutes, which probably most of you should do too. No, I'm just kidding.
But, you mean this? Or you mean the episodes?
Yeah, no, this discussion. And she always turns it off. And her complaint, the reason why she turns it off, she's like, I know you're wearing your Star Trek shirt, but we can't see it on camera.
Oh, dear God. Well, now we can.
So now you can, the whole time it's been there, Lower Decks. So
there you
CBS,
go.
please send me my check. Thank you.
Corporate shill.
What is a shill? We won't go over it on this episode, but that's going to be the topic. That's going to be a topic for Starfleet Boy After Dark tomorrow.
I have been told that I'm a shill.
I have been told the same thing.
There you go. I think it's someone that's like paid or works for, like for example, CBS. I would, or maybe it's someone that doesn't necessarily
only people who work for CBS are shills.
Well, there are other companies that you can shill for, I guess. You don't have to shill for just CBS.
So it's unpopular to promote a company you're working for.
I think it implies that you're going to say positive things about said company, but you don't. That doesn't necessarily reflect your opinion.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean? I think it's like selling out, basically. I think that's what it is.
And from the start has been I love Star Trek, so I may
I
not
love
be
Star
a
Trek too, but I don't think Alex Kurtzman would agree that I am a shill for him, right? I don't think that him and his team would agree that.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm vocal about my displeasure when it comes to Discovery, but
anyway. You blame Alex Kurtzman like he can do something about it. It's very funny. I always laugh at you.
Well, he can do something about Discovery now.
Yeah, but you blame him like he watches your show, which I also love.
Well, maybe. Hey, look, I assume everyone watches my show.
But he does. It's true. I know that he does. He told me.
The truth is, I think no one watches my show, but sometimes you make me doubt and you make me believe that maybe these people, or some of them that are behind all of these new Star Trek shows, maybe sometimes they pay attention to what we do, and you make me think about it. I'm like, maybe
it's
they
possible. I mean, it is possible.
Perhaps.
I mean, look who's here today.
Leave a comment, Alex.
We have Alexandra Sandu, who's highly praised in the community. But anyways, the music in this episode was great. I especially noticed it when Beckett was. I like calling Mariner Beckett. That's so cool. When Beckett was cleaning,
it's very Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, and when she was cleaning the turbolift shaft, or lubing it rather.
Isn't it Commodore Beckett?
Beckett Mariner. Oh, no, Beckett's her first name, but is there a Commodore Beckett?
I think there's a Commodore Beckett in Pirates of the Caribbean. Isn't there? Or Lord Beckett? Is it Lord Beckett?
Lord Beckett.
Lord Beckett.
There's a famous movie called Beckett, probably about Lord Beckett, but I don't think I've seen that in a long time, so I'm not sure.
It is. It's Lord Beckett by the amazing actor Tom Hollander. He's fucking great. I love him. Not Tom Holland. Tom Hollander.
Tom Hollander. But also, what do you think? Captain Freeman's really grossed out when Ransom tells her what Beckett has to clean in the holodeck, and we get it bleeped out. We don't actually know what he says. So
Well,
it could
I
have
can
been
tell
any.
you what it is, but I think you'll have to keep it for Stuffy Boy After Dark.
Is it that?
I think it is.
That.
I think it
Because
is
she's
that.
like, like,
Because there's a
she's
crew
like-
member on the bridge that goes, they're like, oh my god. And then once they go into the ready room, she's like, do people really use it for that? And he says, yeah, they all use it. So there's that goes into a filter for that, and that needs to be cleaned out. But I mean, come on. We all knew. What's Riker doing in the holodeck?
It's collected. That's disgusting. It should be vaporized. Anyway,
What I hope. What are they collected? What are they doing? What I hope.
Well, remember I had that theory.
You don't want to shoot it into space. And you just got so much in space.
What if it impregnates a space whale? Oh no!
You can't do interbreeding, like, doesn't work that way. What I desperately hope is, for example, the holosuites that Quark has. I hope that, when someone goes in and plays the Flutter program, it's the child goes in and plays the child holo program. I hope that's not the same holosuite that he uses for when Bashir goes on his 007 kind of.
We're gonna have to really have to dive deep into the holodeck technology at some point on Star Trek, because there's a lot of unanswered ethical and moral questions based on the use of holodecks. But anyways, that's a really gross assignment, and it kind of made me gag a little bit.
Oh, really?
A little just, it's like, oh, like,
dear God.
I can't, yeah, dear God, dear, oh my. It was more like an, oh my. Yeah, it was more like a disapproving oh my. It was more like, oh my.
I am puzzled by the lubrication of the turbolift though. I'm like, what the hell?
Did you like that we returned to a turbolift shaft? Were you pleased
yes.
there wasn't a rail?
We have an actual turbolift. We don't have a bloody fucking, what is it? An entire theme park inside the ship for no reason. It was good, thank you. And it actually made for some interesting visual storytelling later on, because then they're rappelling down the shaft that's now become a cavern or a crevasse of some kind, right?
I like this comment from Chris. I like how the phasers used in this episode for a competition. I also just in general like that the phaser is a multi-tool in a sense. Like, it is kind of neat that, like, you can use it to scrape graffiti, you can use it to, like, scrape carbon, you can do a lot of tasks with a phaser. That's how it can also kill an MF. Yes, it's true.
Boom. But they started doing that in the original series because, we're both rewatching the original series, and Sulu's on the planet heating up the rocks to keep warm. So they started doing that really early on, having those phases that they can do everything.
Hey, Braxton's here. I almost missed him. Hello, Braxton.
That's why
I'll have you know, I stopped watching Drag Race Las Vegas and tuned in because I like you guys so much. Oh my gosh, that's like a huge deal.
It is, and what we can do next week will be the drag. We'll be in drag.
Ooh.
So that's
a really good idea.
So that you get best of both worlds. How about
that? You better work, Sean. Welcome, Braxton. All right, that's awesome. I love the version of Don't Go Breaking My Heart that RuPaul sings with Elton John. So maybe we could, when we dress up in drag, you could dress up as... Yeah.
Well?
RuPaul's, very talented person.
Okay, I didn't know that. I'll have to check that out.
Not to shill for another thing.
Oh, here we go.
But if you watch
Muppets, if it was a chick.
If you watch the Muppets now on the Disney Channel, on Disney Plus, is making me laugh really hard too. It's kind of we talked about this, how Lower Decks seems to be among the first shows that like satirizes its own franchise or whatever. Or parodies its own franchise in a sense. And the Muppets has always done this, but it's kind of
Muppets Now, is that it?
Yes.
So this is a new Muppets show.
Yes. It's just hilarious. It's just so funny.
But is this like a sitcom kind of thing?
Yes. And so RuPaul's on the Muppets
Oh,
now,
he's in the
and
first episode.
yeah, and you can see what RuPaul looks like out of drag, which is a very rare sight.
I
It's
actually
kinda
know.
like-
Well, here's the thing. I discovered RuPaul out of drag.
Oh, okay.
I discovered RuPaul as just RuPaul, and then I learned later on that it was a whole thing with the drag, and then I was like, oh, okay, so RuPaul looks like this. So many attires and whatever. But I discovered RuPaul as just bald man with glasses.
I love that we have a side chat going on right now in the chat about Drag Race. It's very awesome. Getting back to brass tacks. What did we talk about? We talked about the music, right?
Music was good. Music was fun.
I think that's all my notes. I think I went through all my notes. Did we get everything? Oh, I just want to say that
I didn't actually pull up my notes. Let me pull up my notes. I didn't even pull up my notes. I've been doing this completely unscripted. This is ridiculous.
I liked whatever this hand gesture was too that you did. Written by Ann Kim. Kudos to Ann Kim, because I found this to be so far the most enjoyable. On top of being really funny, I was just enjoying myself a lot in this episode. The gags were just like one after another. Like, it was so well written, and it was. Go ahead. Sorry. I was just gonna say it was directed by Barry J. Kelly, who I really like. Yeah.
I like you, Barry.
We like you, Barry.
Come on my show, Barry.
Come on.
Come drop by. Boy. Come drop by. I was gonna say I don't know if I mentioned this last episode, but I have this thing where we're always ranking and comparing the episodes and stuff like that, but I find myself having trouble doing that here with Lower Decks, and it's mainly because I'm not in a mindset of, oh, what are they gonna do? Is this going to be executed well? How much are they going to change, like the Star Trek continuity, that kind of stuff? I come in and I watch the show, and I'm like, hey, that was fun. And every episode is just a fun new moment that I'm having, and this is legitimately how shows should be enjoyed, I suppose. But it doesn't come naturally for every show to do that, and this one is doing it well.
I only have time to watch Lower Decks maybe once, possibly twice, before we do our discussions, because we're on such a short timetable, right? The first time I watch these episodes, I'll usually jot down a few notes. This time, the first time I watched it, I didn't jot down any notes. That's how like engaged I was with the story and like with what was going on. I didn't actually do notes until like the second time when I watched it.
I don't. Well, that's what, the first time I just watch it. And then I do my live reaction. I do my reaction on the Twitters. Then I go to bed. I sleep a bit, take my nap, and then I get up, and then I do my notes. But I did take the time to actually write down gnocchi joke, because that made me laugh, and because I thought it's worth writing down. And I liked the way that Shaq said, "I've killed people." For less, and he's like, nah, you haven't, and he's like, fine, I've threatened to kill bitter men for about the same.
That was so good.
I love that. That was so good. So I took the time to write those things down, because those got laughs out of me the first time around.
What are your thoughts on the mother-daughter dysfunction relationship in Lower Decks? It seems too much like a sitcom like Frasier rather than Star Trek, but it's I think it's totally suited for this show, because in many ways it is like a sitcom, which you've pointed out before, Chris. The show is not a parody. It's more like the sitcom offering in the Star Trek genres. So yeah, but I love it. I love their whole relationship. In fact, I asked Database Boy to put in a whole thing about mother-child relationship episode. Hi, Mom. Hi, Carol. So I didn't realize that was gonna be, thank you, Database Boy. But I was like eating it up, because I mean, obviously it's a mother-daughter specific relationship here, but like I felt like a mother-child thing. Like, yeah, it's parenthood. Like, just like that whole scene when they are spelunking down the Tribble shaft, or whatever it is that they're spelunking down. Spelunking,
Spelunking.
Yeah, like
I said rappelling. Is that not correct?
Oh, it's the same thing. Sorry, rappelling or spelunking. It's correct. I think I might be wrong. I think spelunking is cave diving, if I'm not mistaken, and it felt like it was a cavern diving.
Well, what was the turbolift, wasn't it? Technically,
they're rappelling off the wall, but they're doing the activity of spelunking. Maybe.
It's too complicated for me.
Help us out here. they were descending while the O'Connor was ascending.
That's very true.
It's true.
Parallels.
Oh, jeez. We're getting too carried away here. But what I wanted to say is that what specifically a moment that stood out for me, and it's like, especially during this pandemic, I'm spending a lot of time with my parents. And when I'm trying to cook, my mother's constantly like, do this or do that.
When I try to repel with my parents.
Yes, it's true. And I'm constantly getting like these critiques, and it's just funny because it reminded me of the same kind of vibe as like how Carol was like critiquing. And then my mother's mischievous, like she'll do things that are like counterproductive to my own aims just because she thinks it's better for me, and that's exactly what was going on. And Mariner like calls her out on it, and she's like, well, yeah, but you plotted to get me off the ship by promoting me. And you see that moment in her face where she's like, oh crap, like I didn't know it was that obvious or transparent. And I just thought that was like a great moment. And it was, again, going back to the animation, the story, the directing, everything, I think they just like nailed it. And it's hard to do in a format like this because we don't have all the same, conventions as live action. We don't even have the same we don't have the time constraint. We have a time constraint on it too. And so I just have to say that was like really impressive that got through.
I'm going to build on what you said, and then I have another thing that I want to say. Building on what you said, I completely agree. This reminded me of kind of like the relationship that one can have with a parent. I, as a parent of a very young child, haven't been through this yet. So I'm sure I'm going to do the same thing to my daughter once we get like to an age where she can comprehend things and, like actually interact with me. But I very much relate. And it's kind of like, but they're trying to be the best parents that they can. It's not that they're trying to get in your way specifically. It's just that they're from a different time. They have a different way of interpreting or perceiving things or doing things. And so, but they're always it's always coming from a place of love. It's just that sometimes, what these parents are doing gets in the way and what have you. But then, of course, like Mariner doesn't respond very well to all of this. And I love all that. Anyway, the second thing I wanted to say is I think that the Wesley Crusher and Beverly Crusher relationship would have benefited a lot from this kind of sitcom comedy. Because
or just from Beverly having a little bit of friction or deviousness, because they always she always did whatever was best for her son. She never really, which I love too, by the way. Don't get me wrong.
Feel like Beverly Crusher was a parent to Wesley Crusher on paper, but it was never truly shown to me on screen. Riker was more of a parent to Wesley on the show.
That's not how I interpreted. I know we've discussed this. I would
have liked it. We need the doctor on this conversation to mediate here, but I would have loved to see this kind of dynamic, not necessarily at odds, but I would have seen this kind of maybe sitcom trope being used to maybe, I don't know, to further their relationship, and maybe I would have perceived her more as a mother to Wesley. Wesley had no mother. No, I'm kidding. But
that's so terrible.
I'm kidding.
You're so terrible. Something from an earlier discussion point. Apparently, most shipboard waste is mechanically reprocessed. Only a portion goes back into the replicators. That likely includes biological waste. Remember Trip explaining that the NX-01's toilets. I don't remember that part. But it sounds gross.
I think it's first season. It's not gross. It's just like first season. The Enterprise receives questions from a classroom on Earth, and so Hoshi, like everyone gets a question, they answer a question in regards to their job, but the waste disposal question gets sent to Archer tells Trip, the chief engineer, to deal with it because it's like an engineering question, I guess. And Trip's like, really? You want me to answer the shit question, like the question about the poop? But the NX-01 is an old ship. It is.
It's old technology.
Maybe it's different now.
We do recycle things
I assume they just shot everything into the sun. Like every sun that they pass by, they just shoot their shit into it.
Shoot the shit. That's great. We have a question from earlier. Native English speakers. Does the word moist sound unpleasant? Oh my gosh, I'm just saying it now. To your ears as well. Or is it just a
generally accepted thing that moist is not an agreeable word. I think that, you know what I mean?
But like, it's not a bad thing to be moist. Like it's sometimes it's a good thing.
Well, it's not fully wit, isn't it? That's the thing.
Alexandra, does it sound better when we say it like this?
Oh dear God.
Moist. You should do your thing.
That probably did. No, people hate that. People are dying now. They're all leaving.
Sorry, Alex.
They're all like, we have to go
Sorry,
watch
Alex.
someone else. We gotta go watch Trickland now.
He's done. His stream ended. I think we're the only show on right now. We're maybe not. I think there's a lot of streams these days, which is good because we're all going through a lot. What was the next thing we were going to talk about in this was
would you like some nice cake, so tender and moist? That doesn't sound nasty at all. Yeah, it does.
It doesn't.
It does.
It doesn't. I love moist cake.
Here's the thing. I think that moist can be. We've got to stop saying it. It can be many different things, but when you're talking about cake, I think what you're talking about in French is moelleux, and I think that moelleux is nice. I think that's a nice word. Moelleux.
Moelleux.
That's nice. That's a nice word.
It's just not as easy to say as moist. Like you can't say damp.
You don't like damp?
Damp cake.
I don't like dank. Dank is a word that I'm not too good with.
Dank's a good word.
And
that's some dank cake.
It's enchantment. The queen comes from a place where it's basically just swamps, and it's called Dankmire. And Dankmire sounds disgusting as all hell.
Oh my gosh, the Drag Race chat is giving me so much life. I'm trying to not get distracted.
Well, I would love to see Boimler in drag.
Oh yes, that would be a great gag. We didn't talk much about Boimler, so he had a weird kind of realization that I liked how we saw his true, he was just I don't get it, I deserve all these things.
Yeah, poor guy.
And she's getting all these.
He decides to be mean at some point.
So there's a Moriarty reference.
There is. His only mean thing is to bloody spill coffee on Ransom's lap or his groin, on his crotch, right? And
lap. I think lap. Yeah.
No, it's it's specifically center,
and it's during an emergency too.
And he's like, "What the hell? Why are you doing this to me?" God damn it! Boimler's too good to know how to be bad.
We got a Moriarty reference, and for audience members out there, Professor Moriarty was on Starfleet Boy. If you go and watch our All Good Things discussion, is that the one that I had it on? Was All Good Things?
I think so. You did a whole thing.
Oh no, I might have had it in time for.
You don't even know.
No, I don't know. It's hard to keep up. It's hard to keep up.
But anyway, watch all of Starfleet Boy, people. You'll find it eventually.
It's true. It was cool that we got a reference that I liked. It was a good part of it. But yeah, crazy stuff. Let's see. Boimler would make a super great drag queen. She'd probably be more confident in heels. I'd like to know Boimler. Stress Free K has a couple of interesting theories about Boimler that I like. I'd like to see if they next week though. Stress Free K, we do meet Boimler's girlfriend. Spoilers.
No, I knew. Well, Jack Quaid said that Boimler had a girlfriend, so I was waiting to see when she's coming in. I feel like it's gonna be one of those jokes where he's like, "I do have a girlfriend," and everyone's like, "No, you don't." "Yes, I do. She's on a planet far away. I promise you, it's true." And then it actually happens. Like he actually.
It is that joke. There's a funny gag in the. Yeah, I won't tell you. They gave a funny gag in the.
They got this funny gag.
I'll just tell you. So sorry, guys. This is now spoilers for next week.
Oh God.
No, you don't want me to tell you. You
is it imperative that I know this?
No, it's just funny. We can talk about it next week. It's all good.
All right. I was gonna ask because I saw this is completely unrelated, but I want other people's opinions. What do we all think of Magic Mike, the movie? Because I didn't like that.
I think that's a moist movie.
Yes. It's not the most clean. It feels kind of anyway. What does everyone think of Magic Mike? I didn't think.
While we get that answer, we have a couple more comments that we haven't gotten to. I never bought into the whole no conflict concept. Anyways, it does kind of fall apart, and I think they move away from what we could tell. TNG starts to move away from it, you do get more conflict towards the later half of the series, and then of course DS9 throws it all out the window, and we get lots of conflict.
I think the no conflict concept works quite well if you keep it to the professional side of things. It's like I like to imagine the crew of the Enterprise or the crew of these vessels not having conflict in the workplace so much, or when they do, they deal with it in a very, you know, like Data brings Worf into the ready room when Data's in charge, and he talks to him and says, like, if you have this problem, and they deal with it in a very mature way. I think that's the way to go about the non-conflict concept,
I think Freeman Mariner's family defies Gene's rule of no conflict, but in a way that is a real and necessary, no matter how evolved people are. Parents and children are going to argue. I don't know, man. I think that the future is going to be a really weird place. I've been watching Brave New World, which, by the way, it should be NC-17. It's totally a porn, softcore porn. So, but anyways, I've been watching Brave New World, and I could see how like if I were put into that society, I would think it was totally weird. Like I would not expect humans could ever become that way. But
what is Brave New World?
It's a good warning. It's an Aldous Huxley novel that's required learning in high school, but I'm not sure. Yeah, it launched the Peacock network. Oh, more shilling. Send me my check, NBC. That was what we call on Starfleet Boy an unsolicited shout out. Worf and Alexander had this dysfunctional relationship, but they were a little kid to security officer dynamic where Mother raised Alexander prior to Mother. You call Loxana Mother? Oh no, sorry. Galore raised Alexander prior to Worf, but the lower decks, they are an older yeah, they're like adult. It's an adult child and an adult parent. You're right. Do we have that at any point in Star Trek? I'm trying to think.
What are you talking about? The like senior officers being kind of grown up.
Just like I guess we had cameos, like Geordi's dad appeared and Geordi's mom appeared, but like
everyone's
parent. Oh, the Rozhenkos actually would be a good example of this, because Worf is kind of like always kind of at odds with them a little bit. Like, you know, his mom will make him a blood pie. He's like, I don't eat blood pie anymore.
That's the biggest example, I think.
Yeah, Loxana. Yeah. Oh, duh. Yeah. So yeah, it's a very Loxana Troy. You nailed it.
There's like Admiral Paris as well, but we don't necessarily see them too much because, you know, they're in the Delta Quadrant and all that. But there's the Admiral Paris, which we learn a lot of off screen. Like, well, we learn a lot about him and how he disagrees with decisions and that kind of stuff.
I think that we get Paris's grandmother in Star Trek Beyond, and played by Avar Sarala, the actor who plays
Calvin Timeline.
I know, but still, it could be the same. You have a mirror version of yourself there. There's other versions of ourselves there. So Paris could still have a grandmother.
I don't remember her name. I'm so sorry. Avasarala.
Anyways, we went on that was a big tangent there.
I never remember her name, and then I can't pronounce it. I'm so sorry. I don't know these. Try to pronounce this. I'm sending it in the private chat. Try to pronounce it.
We got some answers for you, by the way. Okay, cool. I'll try to pronounce it. But in the meantime, we got some answers for you.
Okay, fair enough.
Sure, you're supposed to read them out loud so that the audience that's listening can hear the comments. Sure.
But I don't find male striptease entertaining. I don't know. Yeah, well, that is the opinion of Wife on the Tube. She doesn't find male stripping entertaining in any way.
It's because you entertain her enough. Shore Agdashlu. Shore Agdashlu. I like how you let me be the one to butcher that name. That's great. Shore Agdashlu.
I didn't tell you to butcher it. I said, can you pronounce it?
No, I couldn't.
You couldn't. I don't know.
Brad and Beckett's character development are the key thread of the story, with the underlying mystery being what got Beckett demoted, since she seems to have been a high-flying wunderkind. I think you're right. And I like that story. I'm excited to find out about it. Here's a response to Worf and Alexander was a lot of bad storytelling. Totally didn't like anything about the relationship and poor Alexander really gets screwed. He has to come back from the future.
Well, it's not, and I mean, Worf is not the best of fathers, isn't he?
We kind of came to that conclusion, didn't we? Boimler's girlfriend is a beard. Yes, it's possible. I haven't heard that word since like the 90s. Or the 80s, actually. Thanks for
you have to explain this to me. I'm not of the US.
So
I'm not of the generation.
It's not just a US thing. It's like an old thing but that fortunately doesn't exist anymore because there's no longer a reason for it. But homosexual men specifically would pretend to have girlfriends, hire someone, or they would even marry someone, and that person was called a beard because it was supposed to like make people think that like that woman,
That's
that
clever, actually.
It's very clever, and so it's very funny, but it's also very sad that people had to do that at one point. So I'm glad I'm so glad that a 28-year-old does not know that reference. That makes me
maybe
happy.
I'm just uncultured. I'm an uncultured swine.
Well, you are that, but it also is encouraging. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I think you're very cultured.
It's not part of the base culture.
You're cultured in a different way. You're cultured, like what pâté d'oie is, and like a good wine, and you can like you're very French. It's a different kind of culturing.
I had the advantage of living in 3 separate countries, which means I now know how I can compare how various cultures and countries work.
And in France, it's called a moustache. In France, it would have been called a moustache, my moustache, because Frenchmen don't typically have beards.
Oh, really? Okay.
This is true. Sorry, Father, I have to put this up here because it's true. She does sound like that.
They make her swear a lot in season.
She does. She's fantastic. Admiral Paris in Beyond is almost certainly present in both Prime and Kelvin timelines, since the point of divergence would have been during her time in Starfleet. I think it's a point of divergence. Trek on the Tube thinks it's a whole other universe. So
there's a whole debate. There's a whole thing.
There's a whole debate. There's
the next timeline, the next graphic that we devise, that we create, we will be doing 2 versions as to satisfy both. But I will say this. I will say that you, Mr. Starfleet boy, sir, and Davis here, you were both correct in the sense that as it stands, the canonicity says that it's a divergence. Right? The canonicity wants it to be a divergence. It just makes no bloody sense.
Someone get the canon cup. Very nice. Very nice.
Story-wise, it makes no sense. So we have to throw that continuity.
It makes sense if you've studied temporal dynamics and are a amateur.
It's not the same can. Anyway,
it doesn't matter. You can change Ash Tyler from a Klingon to a hot guy from Seattle. So whatever. It doesn't have to be the same. There can be a good reason why Khan doesn't look like Ricardo Montalban too. Anyways, that was a crazy tangent.
Who cares? Lower Decks.
Nice question. Yeah, Lower Decks.
What I was gonna say, what's your favorite thing in this episode? What was your favorite moment?
Alexander says that she's a chain smoker too. I'd love to hear your voice. You should do one of those Trekkie accent videos and tag us in it. Trekkie or tag us in your Trekkie accent video. By the way, I will say that our comment on her voice doesn't mean it's not pleasant, because I actually love her voice and I think it's fantastic. But she does sound like she smokes a lot of cigarettes. It's true.
I love everything. She's amazing. Like her performance, her accent, her voice, the delivery of her lines is so good. Don't put your dick in it. It's fucked enough already. I love that.
We didn't mention the Siskos because they're a very functional relationship. Ben and Jake, but we should now mention it. Ben and Jake don't compare to Carol and Beckett at this point, because I don't really get. I mean, Jake definitely starts, I think, resisting or confronting, or perhaps rebelling is a better word. Towards the end of the show, he's like a little bit more. Especially there was a lot of rebellion around Nog, if I recall.
Huh? I didn't feel that. I feel like Jake is more of himself. He's more a fully
Well, it's because we've always said, well, not we've always said this, but like,
no.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but Cisco's such a great effing dad. Like, I was so pleased to see, Cisco, the way he like addressed Jake and the way he encouraged him to like be himself. I think that's a direct reflection of how Cisco did it. Whereas here, it doesn't seem like Carol wants Beckett to be her own person. She wants her to be this like cookie cutter, like what she imagines her to be, and I think that's the problem.
Good Starfleet officer. That's the problem. I'll
Yeah,
tell
she
you
also
what.
wants to be a good Starfleet officer.
When I was young, my role model in life was Janeway. Still is. She's amazing, and I want to lead like her. I'm kind of headstrong like she is. I'm very Janeway, or at least I try to be. But the more I live with a daughter, and the more I grow up, I realize that my model for being a father is very much Cisco. I think that regardless of how we think he dealt with like all of the situations as a captain or a commander, he's a great father, and I really like the way. And not only is he a great father, but he handles, like, he's doing all of this with his wife deceased, and that makes it adds so many more levels of difficulty to this to the task, right, of being a father, being a widow. Anyway, he's great. Cisco.
The Cisco. I don't have a drink to toast except for water, so cheers to the Cisco.
I have nothing, but cheers to the Cisco.
Let's see here. We have a lot of comments. Do you have a little time still?
I gotta leave, but just a bit.
All right, we're gonna do 5 more minutes. We're gonna go through we're gonna go lightning round through the comments, audience. So this is a reference to the beard. You might only know that term if you're in the life, so that's possibly why you don't know about it.
Perhaps, but then I do know a lot of like the terminology that homosexuals use to like describe the various styles or types of homosexuals that you can meet.
I agree that we should try our best not to compare this show to the other Star Treks, because it is kind of hard to compare a sitcom to a drama. So I agree about that, but we're gonna do it anyways because we're humans. I'm already talking like a Lower Decks character. Look at me, I'm going super fast because we only have a little bit of time. Oh no, something, and I zoomed way. Oh, okay, that was close. I thought we had to. Of course you're. Oh, I didn't mean to put this up. I'm sorry, Sean. You're an uncultured swine. You're French. No, in all honesty, though, what are you? Because your English is UK accent. No, that is what you're detecting. May I answer this question?
Go ahead.
Reese, this is your first time on the channel, so you don't know, and I'm not going to make you go back and watch.
I guess I could confuse though, lad. I guess I could go kind of Irish, and then he'd be absolutely confused. He wouldn't know anything. You
sound just like Colin Farrell. Hold on, let me close my eyes and talk.
Okay, that's my baseline. If I try to imitate an Irish accent, I don't go to Irish, I go to Colin Farrell, because I think he's absolutely amazing, and that's where I go. And that's how I do accents. I don't do accents, I do people.
Wow, Colin Farrell is a moist vessel. I love that accent. If I closed my eyes and I could imagine Colin Farrell speaking. That's cool. I'm gonna have to that's good. That's good stuff. Good stuff. Anyways, the original accent is a Kiwi accent. Sean was born in New Zealand. Layered on top of that is a French accent because he speaks French and he lived in France for a very long time. And now he's developing a Canadian accent. So we're seeing the third evolution. We're seeing the third evolution of Sean. So Sean is an interesting person. He doesn't have a specific accent. So that was very interesting.
I am a child of the world.
Oh, wow. Nice. Very nice. Yes, Fathery is on Team Divergence. We should do a debate, Divergence versus Universe, and Fathery and I will be on one team, and you can get your best Universe person on the other team, and we'll do a debate online. I think it's a great idea.
I'll go get bloody Simon Pegg, yo.
If you land Simon Pegg, he'll be on our side. I think he's all about Divergence, right?
No. He said that both timelines were concurrent. They were parallel.
Oh, okay. We'll have to. Yeah, you should.
And he's a writer. He wrote Beyond.
Look at all this. Look at all this excitement here. All right. I don't know if Lore Reloaded is still there, but I would like to know what he thinks. Let's see. Jake is not as talented as Mariner. I disagree. They're talented in different ways. Uh,
Well, Jake isn't a Starfleet officer. That's the thing. I
That's
think Nog is as good a Starfleet officer as Mariner. Like Nog is boss Starfleet officer. Nog is like Rutherford. He's a really good engineer.
I think to answer this question, Carol and Beckett have very divergent ideas of what it means to be a good Starfleet officer. I think I don't know if Beckett wants to be. I think her mother turned her off to the officer life. I think she wants to be enlisted, or what is it, right? Or commission. Is it commission? What are you when you're an ensign? Oh, so bad. Father might know. Enlisted.
Officer, right?
Yeah, I think so. No, enlisted is the officers, but then ensigns are commissioned. I don't know. There's a difference. But anyways, Beckett is, I don't know. I'm not talking
I ain't about
full,
those naval
full
naval
knowledge here, yeah. But we do have if Continuum Trek's out there listening to this, let us know in the comments below. And then Braxton says, Cisco is great dad, and he loved Jennifer so much. I love Avery Brooks, super dramatic stage act. He's an amazing actor. If you guys have a chance, go see A Man Called Hawk and Spencer for Hire. He's brilliant in those shows as well. I kind of think everything we've experienced in fandom culture these past few years would make great inspiration for a Trek arc. The gatekeepers of the canon sound like fanatic villains. It's true, they do, but hey,
fantastic, not fanatic, fantastic villains.
You can't have you can't come to like a conclusion about something without the opposing opinion. So I kind of value them despite their cringiness. And yes, cheers to the Cisco.
I think, and this is very controversial. We're going to leave on this, but I think that gatekeeping is, in a way, kind of an essential part of fandom. Not to say like you're not a true Star Trek fan if you haven't seen this or that, but I think what you're talking about, what's essential is being a welcome mat, and that's what I am. I'm not a gatekeeper, I'm a welcome mat. Like you have to kind of step on me to get into like this world sometimes, to get in here, and I'm there to welcome you. I don't know, there's not a gate, but there's definitely a welcoming committee, if you will. That's better than a welcoming mat. I'm a welcoming committee. I'm a welcomer. You're a welcoming committee. So here we go. Every fandom needs a welcoming committee, but there needs to be some Tellarites in there, just to keep.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is I value the Tellarites, even if they're annoying and they shouldn't serve on Starfleet.
Even if you're very racist and you don't want them to be captains.
Speciest. I would be a speciest, not a racist. But just so you know.
Me. I've been told, by the way, that I need to make my videos in our Star Trek species. They're no longer.
I think we will end on that. Gatekeeping is bad, but welcoming committee is good. So try to be a welcomer.
We'll do that. Welcoming committee.
All right. It's time to rate the episode. I give this one a 10.4. A 10.4. That's absolutely correct, Sean. You got it correct. I give this episode a 10.4.
How do I know these things?
For all the reasons.
You're too obvious.
For all the reasons we talked about, just a couple of points that I didn't get to talk about. You did mention the animation, and I really wanted to point out how the mandala that O'Connor was building was so beautifully the sand thing was so beautifully lit, like his quarters, that shimmery candle lit look. I mean, just the atmospherics, I guess they're called, are so beautiful in here. So again, I just want to say that you see something like that in every episode, and even just like subtle things like the shading, how clean it looks, how the backgrounds are all very like clean, and they look, it's very, very nice. So yeah. But then in addition to that, I think I can't believe in 28 minutes we had an hour and 30 minutes worth of stuff to talk about. So a 28-minute episode sparked this huge discussion. This is our longest episode, if I'm not mistaken, to date on Starfleet Boy for Lower Decks discussions and reactions. So, and I think the audience was very into this plot too. So yeah, I think this was an overall win. It was I think it's my favorite episode right now. I'm going to say that every week, guys. I'm sorry.
Well, here we go. I'm gonna give it an 8. Boom.
Whoa.
Which would be the highest if I hadn't been subdued into giving the pilot an 8 instead of a 7.5. So yeah, I think this is probably my favorite episode so far. I liked it. I liked everything in it. It was great. It felt very Star Trek, and I like all the dynamics and the character development that they had. I have minor issues, but they're like, I didn't like that Tendi and Ascension Man kissed. But that's just me.
Oh, we didn't even talk about the kiss. No, I love that. I love that. I meant to say
that's a personal thing. I didn't like that they kissed, but I'm not gonna hold
I
that.
loved it, and I meant to say her kiss was so good that it triggered him to ascend. That's how good. That was kind of that's a cartoon trope.
You think it's her? You think it's
Yes, 100%. That's a classic cartoon trope, like when Jessica Rabbit kisses Roger Rabbit on the cheek and he like goes crazy and his eyes pop out of his head. But this was done in a beautiful sci-fi hilarious way. So even more kudos to Star Trek Lower Decks for getting that classic cartoon trope right in there. So yeah, I actually love the kiss. Sorry.
I'm trying to figure out what no, but that's it. I think that's pretty much it. I got Valerian. Have you seen the movie Valerian?
Yes.
Okay, I just saw this in my notes. Very Valerian vibes with Tendi and that guy when they were walking around in the. It was kind of like was it a mushroom environment or whatever it was?
Mm-hmm.
You know, when Valerian they go to the bottom of the space station and it's all watery, but you still have those hard,
it's very moist
metallic walls. God damn it! Anyway, yeah,
I got it in there.
It was I think it's my favorite so far. I liked it. And it's my favorite in the sense that it didn't even try to be my favorite. It didn't, episode 1 tried very hard to be this or that. And this one is just, it casually came up. It was like, hey, I'm an episode of Lower Decks. And it was fun and I liked it. So there you go.
Nice. So wow, an 8 and a 10.4 from your boy, Starfleet Boy. Audience, thank you so much for coming. Lots of great, nice comments. I'm sorry that you weren't in the mood to watch this originally, Alexandra, but maybe our discussion will get you to watch it another time. That'll be very cool. And we'll end on Stress Free K's comment about us. Toddy and SFB are a pretty sweet team together, and I agree. I appreciate you, Sean. Thank you for coming on again yet another week and taking time out of your busy schedule busy schedule to come here. And audience, thank you for taking the time to come and hang out with us in our discussion. Awesome having you on for the first time ever, Reese. Thanks for coming. And to all our regulars, we love you very much. Live long and prosper, and we'll see you